Aloha, everyone. I'm Patty Lee with Talking Story. Since the epidemic, many of us are spending a lot more time watching TV, and I know one of my favorite shows is Ink Master. On the show, some of the nation's most talented tattoo artists compete for a $100,000 prize, a feature in Ink magazine, and the title of Ink Master. Today, we have the opportunity to chat with an incredibly talented young Maui girl that took the nation by storm with her tattooing skills. Not once, but twice. She is a Maui native and King Kaulike alumna who studied film for 2 years while working as a tattoo apprentice. Ended up becoming an incredible tattoo artist and landed her spot on Ink Master Season 11. After honing her skills and opening up her own shop, she was brought back for the most recent season of Ink Master, Season 13, representing the West Coast, where she ended up in the finals, only to have COVID-19 cancel the finale. For those of you who don't already know her, let me introduce you to Angel Rose. Hi, Angel.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, good. How are you?
I'm bored.
Yeah, I get that right now. Thank you so much for joining me for the interview today. Is
Of course,
it
of course.
completely weird that I'm a huge fangirl for you right now, even though you're a friend?
It's not weird. I'm a fangirl for all of my friends. That's how it should be.
Seriously, though, I have been such a huge fan of your artwork ever since you were doing the henna tattoos over in Lahaina.
Yeah,
Remember?
yeah.
And now look at you today. Seriously.
I think it's pretty funny that's kind of my story. I'm like, yeah, fun fact, I used to do henna tattoos for Jordan all the time.
I remember backstage we did a play together years back, and you were always doodling all the time. So no surprise to me that you ended up being such a big tattoo star. But can you tell us a little bit about, for you, what it was like growing up on Maui?
Well, um, it's funny because I didn't think anything of it growing up. I was like, that's just how I grew up. That's how I thought things were.
Oh,
That's how I thought things were. And then I moved to California, and I was like, you guys are weird. Um, Basically, just I have I'm really, really, really friendly, and like really just always going out of my way to like help people and just the aloha stuff.
yeah, yeah.
I'm like a Maui kid at heart, and I think I stand out a little bit here in California because there's not the same small community vibes. And people are kind of really more about stepping on each other here, which is weird to me. So, growing up in such a like loving, supportive community, I think it shaped who I am, and not only that, but the fact that you can get going doing any kind of hobby in a small community like Maui, and people will lift you up and want to see you succeed in that, and everyone will want to come in and support you doing that, like a whole community will. And that was part of the reason that I was able to like pick up things and get better and better at them and gain that confidence to be like, okay, I'm gonna keep chasing these dreams.
I love it. I love it so much.
And
And
I'm really special in that way.
yeah, 100% true too. And I can totally see that. And it's funny because, you come off, if we were just to look at you, like kind of tough, whatever, but I love that you're a Maui girl at heart, deep down, you've got that aloha spirit and you're spreading it across LA. That's pretty awesome.
I try.
And did you always know that you wanted to be a tattoo artist?
Well, I had an interest in tattoo art since I was a kid. I was like drawing, and Hawaii is like everybody has tattoos.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid thinking, like, I remember thinking that tattoo artists were these like really respected members of the community, because I was like, somebody's got to do them. Everybody has to get tattoos, so somebody's got to be the one to do them. And I understood that you needed some kind of talent to do that, so I just thought it was so cool. I didn't initially set out for this to be my career, but it kind of found me, and I've already kind of been plugged into the tattoo community a little bit, so it worked.
Super glad that it did find you, because you clearly have the talent for it. And I understand you actually opened your own studio. Is that right?
Yes. So at the beginning of 2019, I opened my shop, which I also, like growing up, my dad, he owns a martial arts school, And I've, kind of always been, he also owns a boat repair company. I've kind of always been around people who own businesses and
Have that entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah. So I kind of, I was like, well, I'm in this profession and that's kind of just how you go get a job in my mind, start a business. So that's what happened. And it sounded like this really fun project for me. I set some kind of goal for myself and I get really excited about accomplishing it. So my shop was essentially that for me. And I feel like opening a shop in LA was a crazy, crazy goal to try to accomplish, but I did it and here we are.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, obviously COVID-19 must have had a pretty big impact on tattooing and, not being able to have physical contact with people. I can't imagine what you must be doing in the meantime, but is it completely impossible? You can't tattoo or?
Yeah, well, I mean, all non-essential businesses are closed. Tattoos are non-essential in a big way, which some people would argue otherwise. But yeah, so we had to close a little over a month ago. I actually hadn't had anybody really coming into the shop for a little while before that because people were starting to get stressed out about, COVID-19 and everything. So we've been closed for a month and a couple weeks and that's pretty much all our entire income, rests on being able to do tattoos. So, us as artists are having to come up with really creative ideas to try to keep money flowing, when we're not working.
Yeah, I can completely see that. So have you ended up with any new tattoos that you've given yourself because of all of this?
No, I don't like tattooing myself. Like everybody asks oh, you're so good at it. Why don't you just tattoo yourself? I'm like, 'cause it's hard and it hurts. Imagine trying to focus with that pain happening. It's not fun.
I mean, I can't personally imagine that, but I have heard it happen. So I don't know. So what are you doing then in the meantime instead?
Well, so I have a couple of different projects I've been working on. Most of it is kind of centered around kind of springboarding off of, Ink Master and, the hype that's around that. And also, just getting money flowing in. Because I found, with my brand, I have a lot of people who want to interact with me, but, live on the other side of the country, live in Hawaii, live wherever. So they can't maybe fly out to me and get a tattoo from me, but I want them to be able to, kind of support me in some way. So I'm, coming up with digital art that I'm making prints out of that I'm going to send out and sell on Etsy. And then I'm also kind of doing this cool little video project where I just, talk story with, the guys from Ink Master and put out some cool content for people to watch, for cheap.
I love that.
Give them something to do. And I went to film school for 2 years. So I was like, I have all this knowledge about video production. So I may as well use it. And that's another way to make a little bit of money on the side. Because who knows when money's coming back right now,
Yeah, I think a lot of us are in the same boat in that way for sure. So people can relate to that. But I have seen some of the images and so much talent. I definitely would put them on my wall. So everybody go check it out if you haven't gotten a chance to yet. So you are actually on 2 seasons of Ink Master, 11 and 13, right?
Yes.
And what primarily was the difference for you between the 2 seasons?
Well, truthfully, the first time, I barely knew how to tattoo. I was pretty fresh out of my apprenticeship by the time they called me. And, I'm a pretty competitive person. I would, credit that to growing up in a martial arts school. But, so they called me and I was like, yeah, let's do it. And so I get there and I had to kind of fake my way through it. I knew there was a lot that I wasn't really going to be good at, but I was like, I know I can make some kind of an impact. I'm going to take this as my chance to do that. Of course, when I left, it was the single best thing that could have happened for my artistic career because I learned so much while I was there. By the time they called me again, I had become obsessive over tattooing, just insane.
Yeah.
And by the time I went back, there wasn't a whole lot that could trip me up. I just had taken everything and learned from it. And So when I came back, there was a lot more confidence, and not to mention too, there was like, just the knowledge of having been there and gone through it before. I was a lot more comfortable, and I really felt like when they called me, I was like, well, I'll do it, but I'm going to win the damn thing. So get my check ready.
Yeah. Get my check ready. I love that.
I remember that when the producer called me, I was like, well, I hope I'm taking this seriously this time, like, not that I didn't before, but it was it was funny.
Well,
like,
and it's different going in, not having that background, but, interacting with people like Oliver Peck and Chris Nunez and Christian, even just the resources and the knowledge that they have to share with you is like.
Oh yeah. And this is something that people don't really think about, but they're going to put 20 artists from across the country in a house together with a ton of downtime, and they take our phones away and stuff like that. So all we do is connect with each other and teach each other art and tattooing techniques and what have you. Like, all we do, it's like tattoo artist summer camp. You just locked in a tower with a bunch of creative people, and you just learn so much.
Yeah, and being surrounded by people like that just drives you even more, I can imagine. Yeah. So, by the way, congratulations. I haven't said that yet, but for making it to the finale.
Thank you.
The finale would have been last week, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so super bummed that obviously that didn't happen due to COVID-19.
Hey man, some things are more important,
Yeah.
It's going to be okay.
Yeah, I completely understand. I mean, yeah, safety, especially, you guys were filming in New York, is that right?
Yes, but we filmed over the summer. It was about 6 months ago, maybe a little more. So the last thing you guys see happened for me a long time ago.
Oh, I see. So there's a little bit of a delay then in what we're seeing versus when it happened. That makes sense.
Like I saw like someone left a comment on my Instagram, like, you guys aren't social distancing. I'm like, bro, this happened like 6 months ago.
Well, I know that we got a chance to see some of the artwork that would have been in the finale. Pretty incredible stuff.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you guys haven't get to see it, here it is.
Yeah, we worked on these master canvases over the past couple months, and literally right after we finished it, like, the entire world shut down, and we were still hoping for the finale. Couldn't happen.
Yeah,
but at least we finished our tattoos, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. At least you had something to show. I mean, it's a bummer that we couldn't obviously have the finale and watch you win this, because we all knew that you were going to, and we're super rooting for you, but it's what it is. Life continues.
Some things are more important, Yeah.
And I think, as I understand, you guys all sort of technically won that season. Is that right?
That's kind of how everybody's treating it. I mean, us as finalists, it's so surreal for us. It's hard to put any kind of label on it. It's like, in a way, we all feel like we lost, and in a way, we all feel like we won. We have these jokes that we're like, we make up 1/3 of a whole ink master. Like, if we put it together and like link arms, we make one.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome. And I think I saw that your next interview is actually with Jimmy Snaz. Is that right?
Yes. That just came out today.
Very cool. We'll have to go check it out. Okay, I do have one final question, because for years I have been wanting to get a tattoo from you. Girl, what's a girl gonna do? I promise I'm not gonna get a space dog, okay? I'm kidding. I'm seriously kidding. I know how popular you are, and I know you've got like a long list, and when you come home to Maui, you're coming home and seeing people.
Yeah, honestly, what it is when I come home to Maui, I just want to relax.
Yeah.
I used to take my workaholic energy back to Maui with me, and then I'd be, like, Christmas Eve, like, tattooing until super late at night, and I'd be like, what am I doing? This isn't what you do on Maui.
Yeah, especially not on vacation, right?
Yeah, and it's so easy for me, because I want to take care of everybody, and I want to make everybody feel included. It's so in my nature to do that. But then, my vacation ends up just, like, dwindling down to a couple days, and I'll be like, the day of my flight home, I'll run to the beach before I leave, trying to catch a tan real quick, and I just was like, I was going to take it easy when I come home, and But if you really, like if you're really serious about it,
Come to
I do sometimes take appointments. I do sometimes like actually work while I'm home. When I do, it's just a matter of getting in, just seeing, getting in,
faster than everybody else.
and yeah,
Yeah, I
and
get
I can
it.
always like, I see when my homies hit me up. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, yeah.
um, but in if you wanted to, like, if anybody ever wanted to like get a tattoo from me in LA, I'll open the booking about once every 3 months or so, and book for the next 3 months. So it's easier for people to like plan to come travel to
Sure.
see me and stuff like that.
That
And
makes a lot of sense.
that's something you want to just pay attention to Instagram, and I usually post a bunch of instructions on how to do it.
Cool, cool. Well, very good to know.
Yeah.
There are so many interesting things about you that I would love to share with our whole audience, but of course, we don't have so much time for all of that. So, everyone, please feel free to check out Angel's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and we look forward to seeing more of what you're going to be putting out in the future. Until then, thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course.
Take care, be safe.
It's fun. I love hearing from Maui. You guys can call me anytime.
Okay, all right, good to know, good to know.
All
And
right.
for all of you watching, thank you also for being here with us and checking in. For more information about what's happening here on Maui as it's happening, visit mauinow.com and check out our future features with Talking Story. Until next time, I am Patty Lee. Aloha. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.